Let's continue, shall we? And did we loop back to the very beginning now? 2050. No, we didn't. That's stealth. This is the secret basement. We found the secret basement at the end of the last video. Now we get to see what all's hanging around down here. Shelf. Various medicines on this shelf. Mr. Wu planning to enter the pharmaceutical business? It's not clear what the purpose is. We can make a note of it for now. There are many large wooden barrels placed here. The smell. It's red wine. Boxes. On the wall, there's a row of ventilation outlets, with 3 boxes placed in front of them. The 2 boxes on the left are labeled carp, while the one on the right, small croaker. The corner of the box on the right has been opened, and a white mist is floating out. Oh, that's concerning. A whole box full of small croakers.
Huh?
Does Mr. Wu also run a fish selling business? I haven't heard about it. Maybe it's for himself. That would make sense, but is there anything strange about it? He's preserving these small croakers with dry ice. Ah, that's the mist. Dry ice? What's that? It's frozen carbon dioxide with temperatures as low as negative 80 degrees Celsius. It effectively isolates oxygen. The preservation effect is excellent. But dry ice is expensive and rare. Using dry ice to preserve fish indicates he must really, 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 really love fish. Fair enough. There are some types of foreign liquors, as well as several bottles of distilled water. On the table, there's a copper frog figurine. Next to it, a stack of account books. Koshin, the contents of this account book are different from the one in the study. Double bookkeeping. Many unscrupulous merchants do this. There's an additional customer list at the back of that account book. Oh, and Stone Wu's customer list. How come these names are on it? Whose names do you know? Whose are they? Lo Pei and Lo Shiwen. Oh, whoa. I remember. Lo Pei and Lo Shiwen were both involved in the case you handled in Hunan. How did these two become the clients of Stone Wu, despite being so far away from Shanghai? That's really strange. We need to figure out first what exactly Wu's store is selling. In the middle of the sealed liquor cabinet, there are various types of wine glasses placed. On the top and bottom of the cabinet, there are some bottles of alcohol stored. As for the specific type, I just don't recognize them. On one side of the table, there are many bottles of cola water. One bottle is half covered with a lid, and there's still some unfinished soda left in it. There are alcohol lamps, flasks, condensers, and other instruments on the table. It looks like some kind of extraction experiment is being conducted. Underneath the table, there are some fish bones. Meow. Kitty! Such a cute kitty! So those fish bones were leftovers from his meal. New objective acquired. Pet the cat. Maybe Koshin. Could this be the Mr. Ginger that Cece's looking for? Orange clothes, white gloves. Big wide eyes, pointed ears, long tail. Fits the description perfectly. Kitty, are you Mr. Ginger? Can I shake your paw? It seems Mr. Ginger doesn't like people. Mr. Ginger seems to be not intentionally avoiding people, but rather injured. Well, Indeed, his mouth and paws seem to be frostbitten. Paws, mouth, fish. Mr. Ginger must have gotten the frostbite on his paws and mouth while eating frozen fish. It seems that Mr. Ginger has been kept in the cellar for the past 2 days and he's starving. Well, uneaten fish. Koshin, it seems like there's something inside the fish's belly. It's a wax paper package. Uh-oh, someone's smuggling. Let's open it. Inside there are a dozen wax pills, each one labeled with the words opium cessation pill. Afu, let's check the fish in the boxes again. Afu and Koshin open the boxes one by one. The first box is filled with half a box of dry ice, and the fish inside has been taken away. The second box contains a big black carp placed in dry ice. The third box is filled to the brim with small yellow croakers. The cover is not tightly closed, and most dry ice on the surface is already evaporated. Shall we get open the fish and take a look? No, it could cause frostbite, just like Mr. Ginger. I have a pair of gloves in my bag. If we put them on, we should be fine. The temperature is too low. We need to wear leather gloves. I'm going to ask Officer Lee for help. An hour later. Oh wow. Took a hefty amount of time. These yellow croakers were just a cover. Stone Wu is actually selling opium cessation drugs. Selling opium cessation drugs is illegal, so why do it secretly? That makes it really interesting point in terms of Stone Wu being a suspect. Because obviously a big part of the Shen's backstory is their father being woefully abusive while being addicted to opium. So mayhaps Stone Wu is like almost developed its own opium cessation drugs. Is trying to sell them as a means for Brian's sake, for his friend's sake, and he's not involved in the overall murder plot whatsoever. Just a thought. I heard Shen mention before that most of these drugs on the market are fake and substandard. But what Stone Wu was selling is definitely nothing good. It could also be that, but it's getting late. We must quickly return to the police station and explain the situation to Hare. Let's be careful not to cause any trouble later on. Koshin, Officer Wu must have got the results of the fingerprint examination by now. Let's also go back to the police station and have a look. Sure, we should also bring this rescued gentleman back to Cece. Police station? A few minutes later. What? You're saying that all the fingerprints on the magazine belong to Stone Wu? I have compared them repeatedly, and they are indeed his fingerprints. This gun belongs to the victim. It's not surprising his fingerprints are on the magazine, is it? It does make sense, but wasn't this the outcome that would be least influential to the case? Does make sense, but I thought we would be able to find the murderer. Don't be discouraged, Afu. Our investigation has made significant progress. For the moment, the evidence we have collected is roughly just these. In addition to that, Koshin and I have made some other preparations. Now, it's time for the second trial. Oh. I'm awake. A Chinese citizen, Shen Chunping, is suspected of shooting and killing Chinese citizen Stone Wu. The second trial will now begin. This case is handled by Shanghai Governor Quan Jung. Judge Quan, please proceed. Court is now in session. Hello. Yes, Judge Quan. Prosecutor should proceed with the opening statement. I know this procedure, but I just have this feeling that someone should shout a solemn silence to truly start. Solemn silence. Defense counsel, please refrain from speaking without permission. I'm sorry. I thought Judge Quan wanted me to shout. Pooh, are you getting nervous again? I didn't mean to. You're even stuttering a bit, yet you say you didn't mean to. It's like my brain suddenly hit the brakes. Stalled. Take a deep breath. Get used to the atmosphere soon. Please proceed with the statement, prosecutor. Alright, Joseph. Your Honor, in the previous round of the trial, you've seen a chain of evidence, fingerprints, firearms, bullets, the body, and the scene. You have reconstructed the defendant's crime process and revealed his method of hiding the gunshots. Based on these factors, we can now confirm that the defendant is the murderer. However, the defense counsel has questioned the process of the defendant's arrest. For fairness and justice, the prosecutor acknowledges the defense counsel's questioning. But, in reality, there is no flaw in the process of the defendant's arrest by the police. Next, I will call Sergeant Singh and Officer Wu from the police to testify in court. Let's have Sergeant Singh and Officer Wu into the court. Alright, this should be interesting testimony. I solemnly, sincerely, and truthfully swear and promise. The testimony I give is true, complete, without any falsehood. Officer Wu, don't you have anything to say? I say, Miss Sergeant Singh. Fu, it seems like someone else is just as nervous when standing in the court as you are. Well, I'm fine now. Sergeant Singh, you were in charge of this arrest operation, correct? Yes. Officer Wu, you were involved in this arrest operation, right? Yes. Both of you were present throughout the arrest operation, correct? Yes. When Shen was arrested, the police clearly didn't know about the murder case. Why was there an arrest operation? Raise a question. Wait a minute. Hey you, why are you shouting so loudly? Defense counsel, you seem so confident. You must have a solid plan, right? Huh? Well... Oh no, I was too busy shouting and forgot what I wanted to say. Afu, are you trying to ask? The body was clearly discovered the next day, so why was there an arrest operation that night? Yes. We were just about to explain. Why are you in such a rush? Then please begin your testimonies. Alright. On the night of the crime, we organized a secret operation at the Lyceum Theater. Initially, the target of the arrest was not Mr. Shen, but the infamous thief Shanghai Phantom. The Shanghai Phantom. That infamous thief? Yes, that cunning villain. In 1 month, the vaults of the 4 major families were robbed by Shanghai Phantom. Dent Group and Sassoon Group lost gold, and the Jardine family lost a batch of weapons. Among them, the Watson family suffered the greatest loss. Inside the stolen safe was the formula of the best-selling worldwide beverage, Watson Cola Water. Investigation shows Shanghai Phantom had close ties with Stone Wu. On the night of the case, we received orders to gather at Lyceum Theater at 7:15 p.m. And when we arrived at the scene, did we find out Sergeant Sink had received a tip-off. Shanghai Phantom will sell the stolen goods at 8:30 p.m. using the lockers at Lyceum Theater. By then, Sergeant Singh had already investigated the theater and formulated a detailed arrest plan. To be precise, the arrest operation began at 7:29, and I took it down clearly in my notes. 8:26, the defendant entered the theater lobby. 8:28, he opened the number 212 locker and placed a gun inside. Officer Wu, is that correct? Yes, Mr. Shen. Yes, Mr. Shen's actions mistakenly led to his arrest as the Shanghai Phantom. As a result, the secret arrest operation failed. There's nothing to regret. With the blessings of the gods, though we didn't catch the thief, we caught a murderer. Your Honors, this is the course of the arrest process. As Sergeant Singh mentioned, the defendant was arrested at the theater, though coincidental. There is no evidence of the defense's claim of framing. The police noticed the defendant hiding the gun because they had been monitoring the lockers. That sounds reasonable. Defense counsel, do you have any further questions? You mentioned that Mr. Shen was hiding the gun. Do you have any evidence to support this? Someone provided us with a photograph. Photograph captured the moment when Mr. Shen was concealing the weapon. It's a very convenient photograph. The person in the photograph. It is indeed Shen. See, the murderer would hide a weapon. It's not necessarily true. Maybe the gun was already in the locker. Mr. Shen simply unintentionally took it out. Actually, for the operation, Sergeant Sink had already checked those lockers. They were all empty. Sergeant Singh, huh? Order, order. This photograph will be accepted as evidence.
Huh?
Now this is really troublesome. Does the defense counsel need to cross-examine? Fu, I've been thinking. Mr. Joseph should have seen this photo already. Why didn't he present it at the previous court hearing? Perhaps he thinks he can defeat us without presenting the photo. That's not Mr. Joseph's style. I actually think perhaps the evidential strength of this photo isn't as strong as it appears. Huh? Let me take a closer look. Koshin, there is indeed something strange. Fu, point out to them the parts they find unnatural. If Shen was truly hiding a gun, then the location where this object appears is very odd. Let me save first. Nothing unusual there. I'll think more about it. Oh! Officers, I want to confirm something. Number 212 locker was originally empty, right? Well, Sergeant Singh personally inspected it. When Shen was arrested, there was a cloth bag inside the number 212 locker, right? Yes, there was a cloth bag, which was also captured in the photo. In that bag, it looks empty, right? You have a keen eye. The bag is indeed empty. Hey, you. What are you trying to say? What I want to say is, if Mr. Shen is in the photo was indeed hiding a pistol, it'd make more sense for the bag to be wrapped around the gun. Why was the bag inside the locker at that time? Perhaps Mr. Shen himself left an empty bag inside the locker? Just said that the locker was empty and Sergeant Singh personally inspected it. Well, indeed. The defense is completely distorting the facts. It doesn't hold water. Well, then let me ask Sergeant Singh. Why would someone who wanted to hide a pistol take it out of the bag in public? Well... Sergeant Singh, are you sure you checked all the lockers at the time? Is it possible that there was a mistake or an oversight? The general saving grace, though. Perhaps I was negligent at that time and didn't thoroughly check every locker. Therefore, I didn't discover the empty bag in the number 212 locker. It's not logical to have only one empty bag in the locker. A more reasonable explanation is that the bag originally contained a pistol. The photo captures the moment when Mr. Shen is taking out the gun, not when he is putting it back in. And Shen only opened that locker after seeing the note that said Lyceum Theater 212. It's clear that someone is framing him. Defense counsel overlooked a crucial fact. Don't forget, Stone Moon was killed by this pistol. Well, indeed. I must say, Prosecutor Joseph is truly remarkable. I almost got caught up in their arguments just now. The shooting occurred between 8 and 8:30 p.m. This gun was still at Stone's store then. Furthermore, from 7:30 in the evening, the number 212 locker was under the surveillance of the police. The pistol couldn't have magically appeared in the locker. Tenant bringing it from the store to the theater is the only plausible explanation. So does defense counsel speechless now? Judge Herman, what do you think? If the defense counsel has nothing else to say, then Judge Kwan can make a ruling. Well then, let's... Judge Kwan. The prosecutor suddenly interrupted me. Is there something important to say? As far as I know, during the recess, the defense counsel discovered some new evidence. If they also believe these are not sufficient to affect the court's determination of the fact, as prosecutor, I suggest ending the court investigation at this point. New evidence during the recess? Koshin, Mr. Joseph trying to remind us of something? It seems like he does want the case to be argued more thoroughly. Oh, let's hope that the next court hearing is a fair and balanced confrontation. Huh. Hopefully, the judge and the observer will have the same patience. Which new discovery during the recess should we introduce? We found a secret door in the foreign goods store. Beneath it was a wine cellar. As we know, the police overlooked this place during the previous investigation. Hey you, are you trying to question the police? It is true that the police did not discover the wine cellar at first. No evidence related to the shooting case was found in that wine cellar. Are there any other new discoveries? Judge, during the recess, Officer Wu found the new fingerprints on the pistol magazine. Oh, whose fingerprints? It's the victim's. Stone Wu's. You. This relevant finding is a waste of everyone's time. The pistol originally belonged to the victim. It's not surprising to find his fingerprints on the magazine, as he must have loaded it with bullets. I hate him all you want, he's got a point, and that makes sense. Not like these findings have no substantial impact on the trial outcome. So we need to come up with some way to tie it to the trial outcome. Oh? Judge, I still hope to question the discovery of new fingerprints on the pistol. Oh, why is that? I just thought of something else that needs to be confirmed. Now you, what do you mean by that? It's clearly stated in the report. What else is there to question? Such a large wine cellar at the crime scene. None of you discovered it. Who knows if there were similar oversights during the fingerprint examination? You. We'll be cautious. Let's have Officer Wu give an introduction. That's when we detected fingerprints previously. We only tested the exterior of the pistol. Later, we did additional tests on the magazine and found the fingerprints of Stone Wu. Here's the distribution of the fingerprints. On the side of the magazine, there's a palm print that matches the left hand of the victim. The magazine can hold 8 bullets, and after one shot was fired, there were 7 bullets left. On the side of the 7 bullets, we found the prints of Wu's right index finger and thumb. But that's the situation. Regarding this, does the defense counsel have anything to say? Do we have a means to, prove anything of that sort? Yes! Defense counsel, there's no need to speak so loudly. I can hear you. Go ahead, tell us. What is the issue? Judge, there's an obvious contradiction here. If Jones' fingerprints are on the bullets of the magazine, it casts doubt on other evidence. I feel like we fucked up. Oh! The evidence that contradicts the magazine is this bullet shell. Bullet shell? Is there anything special about that bullet shell? There are no significant traces found with the bullet shell. That's the problem. At the very least, there should be this person's fingerprints on the bullet shell. Where are you, Stone Wu? There you are. Are you saying the victim? Exactly. All the bullet shells from the magazine have his fingerprints on them. Sergeant Singh previously determined they were left by the victim while loading the gun. As the bullet shell found at the crime scene came from the victim's pistol, well, his fingerprints should also be on there on the bullet shell. Indeed. In fact, there is nothing on it. No fingerprints. It is indeed strange. What could be the reason for this? The bullet? Well, it may sound hard to believe. It's possible that the bullet head and shell belong to 2 different bullets. What? Did you never learn arithmetic? Phew, this pistol has indeed only been fired once. Is it possible that the bullets were fired from another pistol? There are still 7 bullets left inside the magazine of the pistol, while its total capacity is 8. Silence! Silence! The victim's fingerprints are present on all the bullets from his pistol. There are no fingerprints on this bullet shell. Therefore, it is not a bullet from the victim's pistol. This seems to be the simplest and most reasonable explanation. Silence! Silence! Hey, you! Did you hear all this noise? It's all the result of your absurd theories and nonsensical talk.
Huh?
I thought I explained it well. Don't listen to him, Buffoon. You're about to find the opponent's weak spot. Ignorant as blind. Would you forget that we have conducted a comparison of the rifling marks on the bullet? A comparison of rifling marks cannot be wrong. The bullet was fired from the victim's pistol. However, rifling comparisons can only be confirmed the bullet head comes from the victim's pistol. The bullet shell does not go through the rifling. It is not within the examination range. Counselor, are you suggesting that the bullet head and the bullet shell come from 2 different guns? No fingerprints on the bullet shell? I can't think of any other explanation more reasonable. Can't this problem be explained in any way? Which means that a second shot was fired at that study. Maybe it was just a careless examiner who accidentally wiped them off. It's unlikely. Hey, you better be quiet. If that's the case, it implies there's flaws in the investigative process of the police. We have reason to doubt the reliability of all the evidence issued by the police. Ooh. Silence! Silence! The 2 of you, stop arguing. I'm already getting dizzy from all this. Does the prosecutor have any opinion on this? If the shell and the bullet came from different guns, it suggests 2 shots occurred at the scene. The police only found 1 bullet hole, 1 bullet shell, and 1 bullet at the scene. Lack of fingerprints on the bullet shell may have another reason. It sounds like there was only 1 gunshot at the scene. Therefore, the defense counsel's argument is not. Wait a minute. Oh? What if the defense counsel can prove that there were 2 gunshots? Oh? If that's the case, then present the relevant evidence. Koshin, do you already know how to prove it? No. Actually, I haven't figured it out yet. My experience with investigation tells me your speculation is likely closer to the truth. How can we prove there are 2 gunshots? Let's think about Mr. Joseph's words in reverse. There were indeed 2 gunshots at the scene. There should have been 2 bullet holes. So why did we only find 1? Could the murderer have hidden the bullet hole? Whenever Shen encountered such a situation, he always liked to say one thing. All contact leaves traces. The evidence is not non-existent, but instead undiscovered. Maybe the murderer did hide the bullet hole. There'd be traces left from the hiding, right? Alright, let's go. we say rice. False. Thinking the peering in the bullet hole is very suspicious. What does this have to do with the gunshots? Let me think more about it. Uh-oh. Wonder. Desk? Evidence that can prove that there were 2 gunshots is on the carpet at the crime scene. The carpet? Joseph said there was only 1 bullet hole at the crime scene. In fact, there are 2 bullet holes. One on the carpet, another on the floor, another under the carpet. The positions of the 2 bullet holes are completely overlapping. The bullet went through the victim's body, and the carpet, and lodged itself on the floor beneath. This was caused by the same gunshot. What if the carpet we see is not in its original position? These are indentations left by the desk legs on the carpet. Judged by the restoration of the indentations, the desk was not moved for a long time. Originally, I couldn't understand why the desk changed its position. Now I finally have an answer. That's right, it's not the position of the desk that changed, but the position of the carpet. The culprit moved the carpet to align the bullet hole on the carpet with the one on the floor. This way they can cover up the presence of another pistol. Interesting. This explanation does make sense logically. Upon further consideration, it still seems strange. Indeed, the strangeness lies in the hole in the carpet was not made by the same gun as the one on the floor. There should be another bullet hole on the floor that corresponds to the carpet. Additionally, there should be 2 bullet heads and 2 shells at the crime scene. Defense counsel, can you explain clearly where they went? Joseph's question is crucial. I must come up with an answer. Actually, there is only one possibility. Hmm. Take it away. It's indeed likely that the bullet head and shell were taken away by someone. Police have thoroughly searched the study a few times. Koshina and I have also investigated. If they were still at the scene, they would have definitely been discovered. You are truly making stars turn in your own sky. Might take away the bullet's head and shell, but can they also take away the bullet holes? If the hole's not on the floor, they could have shot the bullets at immovable objects instead of the floor. I've inspected the entire study and didn't find anywhere that resembled a second shelf. The bullets were shot into an object. The culprit took that object with him. So how did the culprit take away the bullet head then? Is that easy? It's just the rice? Could be the rice. Oops, get me out of here. It is the rice. Anyone notice? There are several scattered rice grains near the bullet hole on the back of the carpet. Are these rice grains relevant to the case? Of course they are. That is the method the culprit used to take away the bullet head. What do you mean? With a few rice grains? A few rice grains wouldn't do much, but a bag of rice would be enough to catch the bullet head. Officer Lee, who examined the scene, reported that a bag of foreign rice was missing afterwards. I believe that the bag of rice was taken away by the culprit. He first placed the bag of rice under the carpet, then fired the gun. Rice grains disperse and absorb the energy of the bullet, capturing the bullet head in the bag. That sounds quite plausible. I'd question the physics of that, but... But in a fantasy setting, I suppose it works. Colbert used a bag of rice to take away the bullet head. The scattered rice under the carpet is a result of this process. This could explain why. There's only one bullet hole in the floor. Defense counsel, you have almost convinced me. The method you described, although complex, can indeed explain some of the evidence at the scene. However, even if the court accepts your claim, what difference does it make? That question. I haven't thought about it yet. Well, Fu, you haven't? Haven't thought about it? I can give you some time to gather your thoughts. Well done, Fu. The scales of victory are beginning to tip in our favor. My mind is now completely blank. I used all my mind power. Well, your thoughts, Joseph? Counsel, please listen carefully. We have successfully explained the issues of the bullet shell, hole, and fingerprints. We still haven't shaken one fundamental fact. The bullet that killed the victim came from a gun with the defendant's fingerprints on it. Furthermore, only the defendant could have taken the pistol from the crime scene to the theater. As long as these two questions remain unanswered, it's impossible for anyone else to be the perpetrator in this case. Check the autopsy report. 8 and 10. So stuff happened after Shen left with the gun? Do you understand? Afu? Your thoughts, defense counsel? Did you hear the prosecutor's words clearly? Afu? Defense counsel, time is almost up. Do you have an answer? Aye. Timing. Whose voice is this? The key to the case is the timing, Afu. Shen! Everything up until now has been carefully planned. There are hidden details that I haven't fully grasped. I didn't want to involve you in them. Don't talk about involvement. If you have a problem, then it's my problem too. If you want to uncover the truth behind it all, you must remember, the key to the case is timing, Fu. Understood. You may experience moments of confusion. When you feel overwhelmed by the complexity, try entering your own mind palace. Huh? I also have a mind palace? Thought that was a unique ability of yours, Shen. It's just a way of thinking. Your mind palace might be more pleasant than mine. Mine has a evil Shen who's the manifestation of my own self-loathing. Who is present in your mind palace? Imagine a space, place your memories in, and let them work together like chains and gears. Oh, alright, we're cooking. The police captured Mr. Shen in the moment of taking the gun, not in the moment of placing it. The defendant was arrested at 8:30 p.m. and the gun was confiscated by the police. Yes, the seized weapon cannot be used for murder. The prosecutor's deduction is reasonable. I got it. Afu, are you okay? Judge Guan is questioning. Koshin, I can piece everything together now, but there are still some uncertain details. Only answer Judge Guan's questions while thinking. Just say it, don't worry. Even if you say something wrong, I'll help cover for you. Defense counsel, I'll ask one last time. What are the facts you'd advocate for? Judge Kwan, the key to the case is timing. Oh, how so? Mr. Joseph repeatedly mentioned that the reason why Shen is considered the culprit is that during the presumed time of death from 8 to 8:30 p.m., only he had entered and exited the scene. And in fact, the autopsy determined that the time of death to be between 8 and 10 p.m. The reason why it was adjusted to before 8:30 is that the weapon was confiscated at that time. This reasoning seemed flawless until just now. We discovered the existence of another gun. What do you think its existence changes? It changes everything in the reasoning. Because that is the true murder weapon. Please tell us why you believe that gun to be the true murder weapon. Because the gun confiscated by the police cannot be used. The culprit must have used another gun. How do you explain that? We've discussed this before. The reason why the seized gun can't be used for murder. I mean, we haven't indeed discussed this, but the question is what evidence do we present in this case? Alright, we're alleging that he took this out of the locker, right? We're discussing this photo. Koshin once pointed out. When Shen was arrested, he was taking the gun out of the locker, not placing it. Mr. Joseph insisted Mr. Shen took the gun from the foreign goods store due to the rifling marks. Now all the evidence indicates that the murderer used two guns. Ooh, Mr. Joseph's rebuttal is no longer valid. The gun was used by the culprit to frame Shen, who was always there and couldn't be used for murder. How do you explain the bullet and the bullet hole at the crime scene, then? Rifling marks on the bullet match those of the confiscated gun. Right, the bullet was found in the hole in the floor, not in the body. I'm remembering this right? Just that someone did indeed fire it at the floor of the crime scene. This happened before Shen went to the foreign goods store. That's impossible! There's clearly blood on the bullet! The blood could have flowed into the bullet hole after the victim's death. That makes sense. Officer Wu, perhaps you should discuss the issue of bullet hole depth with the defense counsel.
What?
Issue of depth? Unless it didn't go through and through, and it's right. How do you explain the depth of the bullet penetrating the floor? The culprit fired a shot into the floor and left the bullet in bullet hole. It shouldn't have this depth. What? I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but I find it very strange. Order of the court. What did this mean? Mr. Joseph, can you please explain it to me again? Judge Kwan, what Officer Wu means is, the bullet hit the floor without piercing a human body. Its power would be much greater. Rice bag. The depth of the bullet hole left to the floor shouldn't be what we see now. So you mean that all of the defense counsel's arguments are based on one core assertion? The bullet and the bullet hole were made before the defendant entered the crime scene. They didn't consider the issue of bullet hole depth. This issue is not resolved. The defense's reasoning will completely fall apart. Defense counsel, what about the issue of the bullet hole depth? Feel free to explain. Right. What exactly is the story behind the bullet hole? Should the defense counsel need some time to prepare? Koshin, I'm sorry, I completely overlooked this question. We've come this far, we can't give up now. Oh wait, Right, the rice bag assertion is that they put stone moo on it, shot him, and the rice bag didn't pierce the rice bag. See, my thought, it could still be the rice bag, because it would have only pierced one end of the rice bag if it supposedly caught the bullet. I think the true use of the rice bag was to simulate body space when shooting into the floor. Let's think carefully again. The crime scene, there must be something that has been overlooked. Use the rice bag twice. Is it because that the bullet holes are shallow? Unless it's this. We haven't used this yet. This is... Seems that black carp is taken away from this... okay. Oh, the black carp is the big fucker. It seems the black carp is taken away from the cellar. This piece of debris is the deformed scale of the green fish that was hit by the bullet. A fish scale. Could it be? That's right, the culprit didn't shoot directly at the floor. Instead, he brought a fish from the cellar into the study and shot through it at the floor. Shooting through a fish? Officer Wu, the bullet hole we see now was formed after the bullet went through the fish. Does the issue of depth still exist? Then it no longer exists. With this, the truth is about to be revealed. The culprit entered the scene before Shen. He knocked the victim unconscious, hid him in the cellar, and took the pistol from the drawer. Then he took a fish from the cellar to the study, lifted the carpet, and shot through the fish. With the bullet and the hole, he stored the carpet and took away the fish and the shell. Why did the culprit take away the bullet shell? Mr. Shen is a renowned detective, and the culprit may have been wary of him. Worried that he would become alerted if he found the bullet shell. Makes sense. Well, let's continue. Next, the culprit hid the gun in the theater locker, waiting for the police to seal off the scene. After confirming Shen's arrest and the confiscation of the pistol, the culprit acted again. Placed a bag of rice on top of the bullet hole, then covered it with a carpet. Then he dragged the victim back to the scene and placed him on top of the bulging rice bag. He used another pistol, the same caliber, to shoot the victim. Seeing the two holes didn't match, he moved the carpet to align it with a hole on the floor. Finally, he kicked the body a few times to further hide the issue with the bullet trajectory. Well, that's how it is. This is the truth of the case. Aha! Judge, our client, Mr. Shen Chungping, is not the culprit. He's a scapegoat deliberately framed by the real murderer. Please make a verdict of not guilty. Defense counsel's viewpoint is quite insightful. You, Judge Quad, are you so easily convinced by such a flawed analysis? Your Honors, every step of a fool's analysis of the modus operandi is supported by evidence. The rice grains under the carpet and the fish scales in the bullet hole are not by coincidence. These are not coincidences, but false clues intentionally left by the defendant. Fingerprints on that bullet shell were definitely wiped off by him. How dare you make such a claim? Because Mr. Shen is a smart detective, he surely has strong counter-detection abilities. This was your own argument in the previous trial, don't you remember? Shen? You never fabricate evidence. His purpose, of course, is to collude with the two defense counsels and help him get acquitted. I object. This is an unjust accusation. Objection overruled. The evidence provided by the defense counsel does not have sufficient probative force. Determined, but there's also no evidence to support Sergeant Singh's argument. During my tenure in the international settlements, I saw many Chinese exploiting system loopholes. I do not want such matters to happen in this court. Oh, thanks to Judge Chairman's reminder. Defense counsel, please provide more compelling evidence. Well, what other evidence can there be? Is there anything that Mr. Shen cannot forge? Oh, proof based on your reasoning. Murderer entered the scene after Mr. Shen's arrest. As long as we can prove this, it will prove Mr. Shen's innocence, right? Maybe there is a witness at the scene who can tell us the answer. When were you there? Yeah. We're gonna call the It Girl back. Or we're gonna call the IT help desk. We're gonna call the cat. Hello, IT. False. Counsel, do you have evidence to prove this person was at the scene when the murder occurred? Not really, it's just a hunch. Alright, think it over again. You think more about it? Call the cat. We're gonna call the cat. What? The witness you mentioned is Cece's pet cat. That's right. It's Mr. Ginger. Defense counsel, why do you believe this Mr. Ginger was at the scene when the murder occurred? I heard from Cece that Mr. Ginger went missing on September 14th, the night of the crime. Yesterday, while searching the cellar of the Ford and Goods store, I happened to find him. Well, what does that prove? The cellar is a sealed space. Both human and cat can only enter by the secret door in the study. After the crime, the police promptly sealed off the scene, but did not find that there was a cellar. It's not until yesterday that I accidentally opened the hidden door. So you mean Mr. Ginger has been trapped in the cellar all these days? Exactly. When we investigated the scene, the secret door was closed and we indeed didn't discover him. This means Mr. Ginger could only have entered the cellar before the police sealed off the scene. It's very likely that he entered the cellar with the murderer. So you believe that Mr. Ginger saw the murderer? Exactly. Oh my god. Ha ha ha, but let's bring him in as a witness. Maybe he will tell you. Meow, the murderer is indeed Mr. Shen. He's the one who trapped me in the cellar. No, not necessarily. Just let Mr. Joseph inform us of the specific time Mr. Ginger went missing. I'm ashamed to say. These past 2 days, Cece's grandfather took care of her. Do not know how the cat disappeared. Well, is it possible to ask Cece to testify? Cece is still too young. I'm afraid she won't be able to handle such a situation. Mr. Joseph, please. It's the last chance for Shen. It's Cece. It's going to be a very interesting testimony. Well, all right. If that's the case, let's take a short break and resume the trial later. Defendant's lobby number 1. Koshin, why are you cat-facing? Our hopes are all on Cece. Her testimony won't be too surprising. Even Miss Wen has moments of being at a loss. Oh, you fucker. You didn't need my help. Toby Cheng, what are you doing here? Huh? Is that Shen's briefcase? Why is it in your hands? Cheng Ping asked me to deliver it to you.
Huh?
Shen? Alright. Toby Cheng, why did you beat Mr. Shen and why did he ask you to do something for him? Did you forget? Chungbing's the younger brother of my classmate. You always seize any opportunity for personal gain. I just want to thank him for giving me the opportunity for an exclusive interview. Mr. Su and Miss Wen, court trial's about to start. Once the item has been delivered, I will take my leave. Perform well. I'll be outside waiting for good news for you. I don't trust you. Mr. Tin Woodman, are we going to see the wizard for real soon? Yes, and you will meet more than one. Mr. Ginger, are you ready to help Mr. Scarecrow now? Meow. Oh, this is Mr. Ginger. We will see Cece and Ken Mr. Ginger testify next time.